Gratitude. We would start with gratitude and shout outs. So if you have any gratitude you want to share, any shout out for team members, anyone in your life, anything that you want to share with the group today, what you want to do is put up your hand and share it with the group. And I'll give everybody a second. Jaime, going to use. Yes, sir.
Thank you. I want to give a shout out to Anna, our agent over there. I guess east of Houston, Baytown, Beaumont. She is just really for grit. You know, she is. I think everybody when they come into our organization, sometimes that dialer and everything gets a little intimidated, and kind of like put one toe in, and this week, she was like she really hunkered down and started making those dials, and I just want to say, Anna, I'm so proud of you, and can't wait to see what happens as a result of all this that you're doing, which you're already rocking it. She signed a 5% new build deal, actually the second month in a row. So keep going. Love it.
I love that. I love that. That's awesome. Any other shout outs, any other gratitude this morning that we want to share with the group? And while you're thinking about it, I want to shout out Akash on our Austin team. He started his business all over again with our team this year, and he's going to meet his income goal for the year, which is really exciting. I want to shout out also Yvette on our team, who started out as a shoving partner and then was an independent agent with us, and she has 4 pendings right now in a very challenging market. And then Joseph on our team, who started with us 2 years ago, and he climbed his way to number 4 on the team in kind of like one of the most challenging markets ever. So any other shout outs before we go on? All right, quiet bunch. That's okay. Announcements. So announcements tomorrow is the all partner call. Last week's all partner call was so good. So if you maybe have skipped a few of those recently, maybe life got in the way, this is a reminder. They're at 10 o'clock Central Time for us, and they are awesome. The social media certification is going on right now with Place. That's a great one to plug into. We had Rachel Adams Lee 3 weeks ago present to our group here, and now she's doing it for the entire group, the entire month. So that's exciting. And then those of you who are doing call night, it is next week. So if your team is in the rhythm of the call night cadence that Place has, it's next Thursday. So lots of fun stuff coming up to get our productivity up, and that's why we're talking today, right? We have Jesse from Envoy Mortgage this morning. Super excited to have him on. I'm making him a co-host, and I'm going to go ahead and spotlight him now. And there you are. It is 6:30 a.m. in your area, so you're a little bit of an early bird. We appreciate that. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me. Yeah, no, we love getting up early and making sure that we can take care of everybody all the way across the country. Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit today about buyers, investors, and kind of continue the conversation we had Friday that was cut off because of the incredible content that Suarez was delivering.
Yeah, I love that. And so essentially last Friday, those of you who were on the all partner call, guys, it was a great call. Definitely want to re-listen to that one. And Jesse had incredible content to share, and it was 7 minutes because that's all the time that was left. And I know you had probably a good 20 minutes of good content. And immediately I texted him, I'm like, can you get on Texas Power Up and share all of that content, the full version of it? And he's like, absolutely, I'd love to. So I want to give Jesse the floor, and he'll take us through, in my mind, I was thinking scripts, data, value propositions, anything that we can do right now to end the quarter strong, start 2024 strong, and help people out.
Perfect. Yeah, let's do it. As I get going, I'm going to ask Adelina a couple of my team members that I asked to join, and I want to introduce them so everyone can put a face with the name. But I've got Patrick Phillips is on the call. It's also 6:30 his time. Patrick, I saw you out there. He's our director of mortgage sales and customer experience. So he's available and around, and many of you have worked with him already. He is an incredible resource. So I'm going to ask him to chime in on a few things. And then James Beaver. James Beaver is an absolute Envoy veteran, and he runs our Texas office and is one of the best producers, loan originators I've ever met. So he really, without even knowing Place, kind of embodies the Place vision of building a team and supporting folks. He's an incredible mentor for his people. So he produces, and then he's got a great group of producers. So these are the guys that are actually doing the work every single day. So I want them to join me and provide some context for this. So welcome, guys. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
All right, so let's get going. There's really, we're watching the market, closely as you are. And, I don't need to tell you that it's an interesting time. I have been in this business since 1996 and made it through 2008 cycle. This is different. Okay. Now, here's the good news. When I go out, and I think all of you probably know this, but when I go out and talk to folks outside of the Place network, there's a fair amount of distress in the market. When I talk to our Place teams, you guys are getting it done. And I love that. You're making the dials, you're running the activities, you're running the plays. Okay. So what I want to do today, and I'm not just saying that. I've been all over the United States over the last month. I finally was able to be home this month. You guys, this group of individuals on this call, your leadership team, Ben and Chris, you really are in the right spot to win in this market. And, sales knuckleheads get on phone calls like this and say, oh, you just got to take advantage of the market. The reality is there is so much distress externally that rings true today like it never has before. We can go pick up market share. Right. There's a bunch of these platitudes that we use when we hear, like, let's go, when times are hard, you pick up market share. That's happening in real time right now in your market. Our Envoy loan team, overall locks for the industry down 25% the last 3 weeks in a row. The Envoy team, because we have implemented some of these same strategies with our real estate partners inside and outside of Place, we're up 17% the last 3 weeks. That is market share. That's how you have to think about what's going on today. So I encourage all of you to just really, focus in. Now's the time. That's why I'm happy to get up at 6 a.m. and do a call, because let's get it done. We've got a small window of time. We're going to finish the year strong. And then you go into January strong. And then March and April come. I don't need to tell you what happens then. You're right where you need to be. Your database is hot. Your hot nurtures are lined up. You have enough of them that your second quarter is going to be a complete banger. So we have to say the right things to the right people. So what I wanted to do is I'm going to expand a little bit. And I promise I oftentimes talk a little much, but I will get you guys out of here in a timely manner. But I want to share some data. I'm also going to, as I work through this presentation, I'm going to put this presentation into the chat. It's a Google slide deck, so that you can snip and copy and paste. The other thing you have to be able to do, you guys, is you have to be able to extract data from the universe and use it, right? So I'm going to send you this Google slide deck. Figure, if you don't know how to screen snip. Put some of these images on your desktop, send them in text messages. Take a picture with your phone. Learn how to use the crop, send them as text messages. I'm sorry if this is a little too tactical and you're all laughing at me, but just sometimes people don't know how to take this 30 minutes of stuff and actually use it. And I want you to use it because that's what matters. Okay. And if it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you. And that's fine too. So no pressure. All right. Let me get to my screen share here and get into it. All right. So I talked about this quite a bit on Friday, so I'm not going to spend much time, but I did want to just cover off on it. You have to enter into every single phone call, every single lead conversation, realizing that your buyers believe now's not a good time to buy a home. Okay. That's it. Purchase applications, lowest level since 1995. That's the secondary proof point. No big deal. They just don't understand the market. You know what? You know where it's a great time to buy a home right now, Adeline, is Austin, Texas. I'm watching this happen. I'm going, oh man, let's get in there. We're buying at a discount.
Absolutely.
It's a little bit of a discount, right? I mean, now's the time, you guys. My little community here in Northern California, inventory is still tight, homes are still selling, but you know what? They're selling for just a few dollars less than they were last month. That means I'm buying at a discount. I'm shopping at the discount window today, and not by much. It's a seasonal discount window. It's not a 2008 discount window, and that's kind of an important conversation, right? It's an important conversation. James over in Houston, Texas. I bet you we have some values now. Finally,
yeah.
right?
Yeah. Good time to buy.
It's a good time to buy. Let's do it. Okay. So I want to talk about the cost of waiting. Here's one of the reasons it's a good time to buy. This is an inventory slide. I usually put this slide in our market spotlight. So you might be sick of seeing it. But please take a minute with this slide every week, right? And here's what we're doing. Here's what we're watching. We are watching this dark red line kind of pop up. Last year, inventory peaked October 28th. Inventory is up 0.7% this week. What that means is that inventory is still climbing nationally. Okay? Inventory is still climbing nationally. Your script for your buyer. Your script for your buyer here is, hey, normally inventory starts to drop this time of year. It's actually still climbing. That means you have more options, more choice in the market. Okay? So watching this inventory number is important. Taking the national number, translating it locally is even more important. I know you have the tools to do that, but you want to understand what inventory looks like. Inventory equals choice and negotiating power. Inventory equals choice and negotiating power. That's the message to your buyers, right? Let's get them enthusiastic. They're sitting at home going, the world is ending. It's a horrible time to buy a house. I'm sitting at home going, I have more choice and negotiating power in most markets than I have in the last 3.5, 4 years. Right? See the difference? That's our job to close that gap. Close that gap. Okay. Next, this just came through my Twitter feed this morning. I will tell you, I have no interest in Twitter followers, but if you want to follow my Twitter, at Jesse Passafiume, I retweet everything I like. Okay. I get most of my stuff following about 10 people that I trust, that Altos Research, John Burns Research and Consulting. There's a couple people out there that I just curate content from and post it up. So at Jesse Passafiume on Twitter, if you want to just see some of this data. What I do is when I'm talking to a real estate agent or a mortgage planner, I'm on Twitter, I see something I like, I screenshot it, I send it out and go, oh, this is cool information. Really does relate to your home purchase. This slide in particular, I don't know, I'm sorry if I drew those blue lines on there. That down arrow is not actually indicative of what's happening. Check this out. As we see, people, oh my gosh, the sky is falling headlines, right? Oh boy, Boise and Austin are, this is it. This is the tip of the spear. Check this out. The dark blue is the 49-year average for appreciation. The green is this year's average. We've just come back to normal on appreciation. Okay. We've come back to normal on appreciation. That's an interesting topic. Do you remember last year when rates came up? Any of you that were here, I was talking about, 6.5%, 7% rates. You know what that means? Rates are normal. Okay. It wasn't normal, 3% rates. So it's important we contextualize, because the real estate home is an asset. I believe it's an asset, right? So it's an asset, and we need to look at historical data the same way we look at the S&P 500 over time. Okay. What's happening now is appreciation is just kind of normalized. So that's an important message. Don't worry about the blue line dropping down. That's not what's happening to real estate. This is also an interesting slide. And when you think about 2008, I'm hearing more and more people talk about 2008, you guys. And I don't know what that's about. That's like some, cable news stuff. This is not 2008. One of the best slides I have found to, I'm gonna see if I can fix this real quick. I don't know how that happened. Oh, well, we're going for it. Here's one of the slides that I would send people, and that I do send people when they talk about 2008. This is a slide of credit scores. Okay. There's a bunch of reasons why it's not 2008, and we've gone through them so many times. You're probably sick of hearing me, but check out credit scores. See the dark blue? 2008's kind of, kind of over to the left side, right? This lead up to 2008. The number of light blue people with 760 credit score is very small. Look at the number of folks with 760 credit scores in 20, 21, 22, 23. It's massive, you guys. So the credit profile of our buyers that own a home today are way better. That's the point. Okay. So what's happening across the country right now? With home prices softening, most of that's related to seasonality. It's not really related to it's not really related to some bigger market crash from our perspective. Okay. I think that's an important component. All right. Home value projections. This is people have revised their home value projections multiple times in the last few months. Okay. So these are the most recent home value projections for 24. AEI housing at 7. I'm not going to read all these to you. You can see the important thing about this slide from my perspective is that nobody with any credibility is projecting home values to drop next year. Nobody with any credibility is projecting home values to drop next year. Okay. Second piece, interest rates. Most organizations have revised their interest rate projections up. Look at Goldman projecting 6.8. You guys were sitting at 7.5 today. That's not much of a drop. So how many of you have clients? You can just raise your hand. I'm not seeing too many photos, but how many of you have clients today that are waiting for interest rates to drop? Yep. A lot of us. Okay. That we believe the economy will ultimately soften and rates will drop. But think about it in context. They're not dropping to 5% anytime soon. Okay. So Goldman thinks 6.8, MBA 6.1, Fannie 6.7. These numbers were about 1% lower 3 months ago. What that tells us is that the economy is more resilient than we expected, and the likelihood of recession is much lower than projected in the summer. In the summer, this presentation was like recession imminent, recession imminent. Recession is no longer imminent. Now, I don't know if we're going to have a soft landing. There are a bunch of macroeconomic things that could change our view of the world. But this is how you want to think about your buyer conversations. Okay. Hey, what do you perceive to be reality today? Oh, it's 2008. Let me help you understand why we think it's not 2008. Oh, interest rates are going to drop. Yes, probably. Let me help you understand that they're not going to drop that far. Okay. Those are the things that you want to be talking to your buyers about today. Okay. All right. Can someone that's a co-host of this meeting see if they can clear those annotations? We had another one pop in.
Yeah, let's see. I'm not sure what's causing that. Wild.
Okay. Well, we'll keep rolling. There we go. Thank you.
Perfect.
Appreciate it. Okay, so the story ends up being, right? And I usually throw a script in here. It's in the Monday email. Pop it open. I want to keep this higher level. Lower rates are going to increase buyer demand. Last week, James, let me ask you, did you see an uptick in buyer interest in the last week with rates dropping 0.5%?
Yeah, it was amazing. Last week we had 14 contracts roll in, which is the most we've had in a single week in a very long time. And it's amazing how quickly the activity just picked up with just a little bit of an improvement in rate. It was nuts.
Patrick, how about you and your team? I think the same exact thing happened, right?
Exactly the same.
Perfect. And so there's Tracy in the chat. We saw an uptick even in showings. Yeah. Okay. That 1 week, that was a 0.5% interest rate change. Guess what? 0.5% doesn't really change anybody's lives. I know it's a big deal. I know, save money. Macro, from a buyer perspective, from an industry, real estate perspective, 0.5% decrease in rates is nothing. Okay. Doesn't matter. You know what it does do? It creates activity. So we got on the phones. We joined you for prospecting day. I don't have my final statistics, but the entire Envoy team joined for prospecting day, which was awesome to see, right? We're like getting into it. And we were able to reactivate a lot of buyers that are sitting. So I want you to, number one, go reactivate your buyers. Okay. Use that data set, use the 0.5% drop in interest rate. Lower rates are going to lead to increased buyer demand. Okay. 0.5% rate, 1 week. The real estate agents that James works with wrote 14 contracts. Okay. Here's the deal. If they drop by 1%, let's say this unemployment number continues to escalate, right? I mean, it's really still near all-time lows. But if we see the employment market soften, rates could drop even further. I'm not saying that's going to happen, right? We are not waiting for that. If that happens, buyer demand increases. When buyer demand increases, prices go up. Okay? When buyer demand increases, prices go up. And we're missing out on wealth building opportunities. So I'm going to show you the cost of waiting. Then we're going to get into some non-QM stuff, which is pretty fun. So what I want you to do with your buyers is I want you to re-engage everybody in your Brivity database. I know you're doing that. We just had prospecting day. You've got a call night coming up. I know you're doing this already, but use the right words. Let them know, hey, listen, the economy's finally softening. Rates are going to drop. That increases buyer demand. In fact, just last week, right? Use some examples. Showings were up X. Use data from your market. What we want you to do is take advantage of the seasonal cycle. Take advantage of the seasonal cycle. You know, take advantage of the fact that Austin is, I'm picking on Austin just because Adelina's Zoom meeting. Take advantage of the fact that Austin's at the front page of every newspaper in the United States. Let's get in there and get this done, because what's going to happen is the economy will soften, rates will drop, demand will pick up, and things are going to take off. Okay. So I think that if I were to guess, I am not an economist. I'm a sales guy. So I want to be clear. I just play an economist occasionally on these calls. But what we saw on the ground, what I do is I translate what I see on the ground into reality. What I saw on the ground last week with rates dropping 0.5% was buyers just suck into the market like a vacuum. If that happens again, home values could really increase next year. Okay. All right. I went through this in pretty big detail on Friday, so I'm not going to waste too much time. James, Patrick, our team can create custom cost of weightings. Showing people this matters. Okay. $500,000 house, 7.5. Rates drop to 6%. That is a big drop. If that happens, home prices go up by 6%. Okay. The punchline on cost of weighting is that you miss out on equity and you have to put more money down. The recapture period is what we track. The recapture period is what we track. 10 years to recapture lost equity and down payment. Okay, it's 10 years. The other tool we have in our toolbox is the value of home ownership place calculator. Make sure you're using that. Pretty powerful tool. All right. So lender paid 1.0 buy down. And talk a little bit about buy downs, if you don't mind, and what you're seeing in our pipeline today. Did I lose you? All right, James, you guys using the buy downs?
Yes, definitely getting more interest in this. I think at the beginning of the year, there was some data that indicated rates may drop, in the summertime, and that obviously didn't happen. And I think a lot of people were kind of dismissive of the temporary buy down products, early in the year because, hey, rates are going to drop. And now we're in an environment, as Jesse's alluded to, that rates are going to stay pretty high relative to where we've seen a few years ago. And I think that these conversations around the buy down products are really picking up steam because people are realizing I need to get something going now. And if I can give myself a little easier payment in the short term, then I need to explore it. So we're definitely getting a lot more interest here.
Perfect. And the one that we have a lender paid 1.0, everyone has a lender paid 1.0 buy down, but the lender paid 1.0 buy down, we can use with your listings. And what this does, and we're not going to spend a ton of time on this, I want you to reach out to your lender partner to get more information. We have PowerPoint presentations, we have flyers, we got all this stuff dialed in. Kevin, we cannot stack. Adelina is correct. So you can't stack a lender paid and a seller paid. You have to pick one. But I wanted this on the slide because this is something that we can pay. Interest rates slightly higher. We offset part of the cost. We pay part of the cost. The reality is, though, if you have somebody that's like, I don't know, rates are pretty high. Yeah, got it. Rates are high. And rates are a little bit higher than they have been historically. But let's just have the lender pay your rate down. And then when rates drop, we can refinance you. So that's the premise there. Okay. That's that. So that's the buyer conversation, right? And I think that's the one we've really been focused on, because that's business right this second. And that's business that you have in your pipeline. What I want to talk about right now is, investors. And I'm going to talk about our new non-QM product and how you can unlock new business in your database today. So all of you are making sphere of influence calls. Hi, do you have any real estate related plans in the next 12 months? Right? That script is one of the most powerful scripts, one of the most powerful single sentences that Ben Kinney's ever delivered. But here's what I want you to add to that. Oh, you don't. Interesting. Have you ever thought about buying an investment property? Have you ever thought about buying an investment property? Right now, we believe, I think I have some additional, right now, we believe that it is a great time for mom and pops, and that's the kind of the industry term. I don't know, I need to think of a better term. First-time investors, investors with just a couple of properties. Now's a great time to build your portfolio, okay? Slide number 1, which I am sharing with just about everybody I talk to about this. During the pandemic boom, 1 in every 42 homes was bought by institutional investors. 1 out of every 42 homes bought by institutional investors. Now, 1 in every 250 homes are bought by institutional investors. Look at that blue line. That's the dark blue line, 2.4% down to 0.4%. Wall Street money has stepped to the sidelines. Won't last forever, but it will last about 6 months. Less competition for homes. Here's the other thing that's really important, because there's a bunch of Wall Street Journal headlines, average rent collapsing, rent growth down to 2%, rent growth can go negative. Rent growth is going to go negative at the beginning of the year. Okay. It's a very complicated formula they use. Single family rent growth is still at 6.5%. It is really important that you understand the difference. The headline rent growth number is driven almost exclusively today by an oversupply of apartment buildings. Single family rents are holding steady at 6.5%. Growth year over year. That means we don't have a ton of time, but you know what that means? That means that when you calculate your future rent growth, we don't want to use a negative number. Okay, it helps your investment properties pencil. James, can you talk a little bit about the DSCR product that we have launched and how you guys are using it?
Yeah, we just we definitely are talking with a lot of our realtors about the Envoy Invest product. The ability to finance lots of homes for an individual investor is very appealing for a lot of people. And guys, it's so easy. Once we've gotten an investor qualified, I mean, it's just rinse and repeat over and over and over again. And so if you're doing an investment property purchase with a Fannie Mae or a Freddie Mac backed product, the homeowner is limited to having 10 properties financed. And so this is one thing that's really great. If you've got investors who are looking to buy lots of properties, there's not a limit on how many properties they can have financed with this product. So that's been very appealing. You can see there's some flexibility on FICO scores. That's also nice. And the simplicity of qualifying it, there's so much less documentation we need to go through for someone using this product. And so we just need to be able to qualify off the debt service on the property, the subject property. So this really meets a need for a lot of folks out there right now. Yeah.
So stick with me. Thanks, James. And hey, listen, anything the real estate agent should know about getting somebody qualified for these, or is there any special difficulty? Is this, how does it look from your end? Are these 70-day closes? Are these 30-day closes? What does this look like?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Pretty standard 30-day close is very, very doable for us on this.
Okay. You guys, we are this product, this is not an advertisement for our product, but we saw this coming. Chris Stewart demanded that we get this deployed. So we're actually underwriting, funding this in-house at Envoy. And the reason we're doing it and the reason we're making a stink about it is because we believe that in your sphere of influence today, there are opportunities, right? Think about the Wealth Series 2.0. Huge part of that is buying, investing in real estate. You sitting on this call today, most of you own rental properties and could probably own more, right? I know the market's tough right now, but what a great time to get in. We can unlock this business. And since we rolled this program out, by the way, we've taken like 35 applications in a 30-day window. I think the last 2 years at Envoy, we had only done like 5 of these programs. Okay. So the unlock opportunity here is the reason we're bringing this up. You, your sphere of influence, you personally, the agents in your office, now is a great time to get into this investment game. Okay. So the previous 2 slides, hey, single family rent growths are still growing, right? All the headlines are BS or related to, their aggregated data. And institutional investors are out. So your sphere of influence calls. Do you have any real estate related plans in the next 12 months? Have you considered investing in real estate? It's a really unique time. That's what I want you to do next. Okay. Let's see if we can turn some of our homeowners into investors. It's not right for everyone. And Grant's throwing some great news. There's some great info into the chat too, if you're not watching that. We just think this is an opportunity for our real estate partners to just unlock new business. We get these deals done easily. We fund them in-house. Okay. And think about what James said, something interesting. I know many of you have investor clients, right? We can do essentially unlimited. I just popped back here for the chat, but we can do essentially, I think nearly unlimited properties on this. Our portfolio is up to like 10 million bucks. Once we have an application for your buyer, this is rinse and repeat. I think those are the exact words James used. This is rinse and repeat. Okay. All right. Adelina said I need to wrap up at 7:15, 9:15 your time, and I will do that, I promise. Next topic. Oh yeah, I forgot about this product. This little old thing. As of November 18th, which is coming quickly, 9 days. In 9 days, we're going to be able to lock a 2 to 4 unit property with 5% down. It's a Fannie Mae product. Used to be 15% down. Look at those loan amounts, 1.3, 1.62 million. Okay. This is like a house hacker delight. And I know, listen, duplexes, triplexes, fourplexes, hard to come by. But for the right person, the right time, this is a great product. This is a great product for your first-time home buyers. My first house was a duplex, 2 bedrooms on each side. I rented out a bedroom. I rented out a side, no mortgage payment. It was great. It's the only way I could afford it. So this is a pretty cool product. We're excited. We have a bunch of applications on this that are just waiting for the 18th. And it doesn't need to be owner occupied, so someone needs to live in it. So that's why it's a house hacker, versus a straight investor. But pretty neat opportunity. Okay, and 5% down is incredible, you guys. Could you imagine? I mean, go back for yourself. Just go back. Many of you are much younger than me, but go back to the beginning of your real estate journey and think about buying a duplex or a fourplex, living in one for a couple of years with only 5% down. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. It's a great way to accelerate your wealth building with real estate. Okay. All right, the other unlock that we are not thinking about enough, and this is all of you are out networking, right? I was talking to one of our loan officers in Indiana yesterday. How's it going? Oh, I went to a Chamber of Commerce event. It was great. There were like 200 people. The chamber's pretty active in our area. Cool. How'd it go from a business perspective? Oh, I met 2 real estate agents that I haven't met before, so I'm excited about that. I'm like, okay, that's it. What else did you do? No, I was there just to meet the real estate agents. I said, okay, paradigm shift. Part of the thing that led to the 2008 collapse, remember, these stated income loans, right? You guys remember that? Some of you do, some of you don't. It's okay. What we can do now, and this is, I referenced 2008 because this product existed. We can now do loans for self-employed borrowers, 1099 borrowers, and foreign nationals. This product is not new, but it's back in the market. It's much different than before. But essentially, 48% of the workforce is self-employed 1099 or foreign nationals. You guys, 48% of the US workforce. That's a huge number. That, I'm just going to close that Chamber of Commerce analogy out. 200 people, almost all of those people are self-employed. That's why you go to the Chamber of Commerce. They're insurance agents, right? They're grinding it out. They're commission-only people. They're selling new roofs. They're, whoever's in your Chamber of Commerce. Most of the people in that room are self-employed. The paradigm shift is, hey, we have some great new products for self-employed borrowers. If you're on a 1099, we can actually use bank statements to qualify. So those products, and we have two products. One's the Envoy Expand. They're basically the same product with different credit profiles and different interest rates. But James, can you talk a little bit about the bank statement 1099 aspect of these non-QM products?
Sorry, I was looking at the question here in the chat. Repeat that, Jesse. I'm sorry.
Tell us a little bit just quickly about the bank using bank statements or 1099 to qualify here for self-employed.
Yeah, this is definitely something that we've been using this for a couple of years now, and it's an excellent way to help folks that do not have easily documented income. Tons of traction on this right now, because I think one of the things we saw, the slide you showed earlier with the FICO scores, like the huge amount of buyers that were doing purchases in the last couple of years with the high FICO scores. The guys now that are buying houses, a lot of them have challenging income situations. It's one of the biggest challenges we face. And I think now is a great time for these guys. There's less competition to get homes. And so we're seeing a lot of traction with the bank statement stuff. In a lot of cases, we're able to use just 12 months of bank statements, which is a lot easier for the client to meet that need.
Love it. Okay. I'm at time. I promised this deck, so I'm going to do that right now. I love it. Someone just put call to action for me. I love it in the call to action for me. It's shortened my journey here. Let's do it. Let's talk. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to finish the year strong. Make sure all your buyers know now's a great time to buy a house. Make sure every single person in your sphere of influence is aware that they can buy a house with 20% down and start building their investment portfolio. Number 3, every single self-employed person around you, every networking event, pivot from, do you have any home buyer referrals for me, to, hey, do you need to buy a house or refinance? We have a phenomenal bank statement program specifically tailored for self-employed individuals. Those 3 things, those 3 strategies will get you through this year, unlock new deals in your database and your networking events. And then we're ready to go for Q1. Okay. All right. Link there. My email address is jesse@place.com. I'm pretty much everywhere. I don't think I'm very hard to find. I will probably not be able to answer your question, but I will get you to the right place. Adelina, thank you for having us on the call. I sincerely appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Absolutely. You guys, so awesome. Thank you so much, guys. I will also send this out in an email to you guys. So in case any of your friends got off early, had an appointment, I'll go ahead and send this slide deck out. Appreciate you guys. Have a great rest of your day, Texas. We'll see you next time. Thank you, Jesse. Thank you, Envoy.